There's two parts to retirement, the financial part and the emotional part. And in this video, I want to cover the emotional part and the anxiety that comes along with retirement. And a lot of you are bumping up against that right now. And anxiety can come in many different forms, but I want to cover off a few touch points in this video. Also, the layers of anxiety in retirement and how to deal with them so that you can walk into retirement and be in a better position to have financial and retirement success in your later years. Well, retirement anxiety isn't anything new. I think it's more prevalent now with people having less defined benefit pension plans, and the onus is more on you and your own savings. I think back in the day, there was probably some retirement anxiety, but because the majority of people had defined benefit pension plans, a lot of that financial anxiety was off the table. They knew they were going to be okay, and it helped them deal with the other issues. Nowadays, that's not the case. So I want to go through a few little steps here that'll really help out. First off, I want to cover off, there's 3 different types of people that walk into retirement, and you fall into one of those 3. So figure out where you land here. The very first one is that you're excited for retirement. You've been building up for this, you're ready for it, you're prepared for it, and you're gonna walk into retirement, and the mentality is, I'm gonna hammer this thing. It's gonna be awesome, looking forward to it. You have all the plans set out. You're looking forward to your last day so that the next day is retirement. You're excited for it. That might be you. The second person is the exact opposite. It's someone that's fearful of retirement. You don't know what it looks like. There's financial anxiety. There's emotional, personal anxiety. You get a lot of your fulfillment at work. That's gonna go away. And retirement doesn't really sound like something fun to you. And again, I think there's more people in this bucket than even realize. And I think a lot of people might walk into retirement in that first bucket, but quickly realize that they actually were someone that should have been in that second bucket. And so there's some adjustments that need to be made, which we'll cover later in this video. The third type of person is someone that's forced into retirement. And this I'm hearing more and more lately. You get to later in your career and you get packaged out. And you didn't really have time to figure out, like, am I excited for retirement? Am I fearful? Because it was just kind of thrown at you. And that's why I really encourage all of you as you get closer to retirement, and I say age 50 onward, have a plan, know what your financial situation is. Can you retire? I always say if you get that golden handshake tomorrow, can you pack it in? Do you have to keep working? What does that look like? Are you mentally prepared? That's why I think it's very important to start building up to retirement. People ask all the time, when is the ideal time to get a retirement plan done? And I always say 3 to 5 years is probably the best window, but up to 10 years is fantastic because A, it gives you that answer earlier, and B, it gives you more runway as you walk up and through retirement to make any adjustments that you need to make to put yourself in the best position possible. So where do you find yourself in those 3 categories? Are you excited for retirement? Are you fearful, or were you forced into retirement? When it comes to retirement anxiety, I think there's a few main points here that people fall into. One is financial, right? There's anxiety about, do I have enough? Is my money going to last? Where do I draw my income from? And that fear can be relieved with a proper retirement plan. So talk to your financial planner, put numbers down, play with different scenarios, make sure you have a really good, solid financial plan. And you can maybe not totally remove that anxiety, but at least suppress it to the point where it's not a fear anymore. Sure, you have to kind of revisit it, and it's maybe a little bit in the back of your head here and there when you have bad days. But in general, you can remove that fear of, do I have enough? Where does it come from? How do I reduce taxes? All the things that we talk about a lot on this channel, get those removed and off the table. I think the other 2 things would be, how am I going to fill my time? Like, I go to work 40 hours plus commute, like, what am I going to fill that time with? And I can tell you this, for most retired people, they fill that time pretty quickly. But again, you have to find something that you want to fill that time with, you're passionate about, keeps you busy, keeps you active, that kind of stuff. The third piece is fulfillment. A lot of people find fulfillment, they have their social network at work. Now again, some of you, the exact opposite, but the majority is, you get a lot of that filter work. So when you leave work, where are you going to get that from? So those are the 3 biggest kind of fear and anxiety triggers that we see retirees. Again, we deal with retirees day in, day out. We hear this firsthand, and that's why I do these videos. Again, we talk about financial a lot on this channel because I am a financial planner. Our team is financial planners. But at the end of the day, when we look at retirement planning and helping you walk into retirement, the emotional, psychological, that anxiety piece is such a large part of it. Again, We want retirement to be a one-way door. A lot of people talk about retirement being a one-way door in a bad terminology, but I actually think it's a great one. I want you to have a one-way door into retirement, meaning that you walk into retirement one time. You don't want to retire twice. You want to go in there once and be glad you walked into that retirement room and have a plan for that room. A few things I encourage all of you to now gather, which will help you walk into retirement with less anxiety and just a better situation, will be clarity. Clarity around your current financial situation, what your hobbies, what your interests are. Really dig into yourself to figure out, like, where am I at, where do I want to go, and how do I get there? So clarity around the current situation and where you want to go. The second piece is confidence. You need confidence in your plan, in your investments, in your retirement situation, in your, what are you going to do past retirement? Have confidence in what you're doing. And again, typically this is before retirement. Try and find that clarity before retirement. Try and get that confidence before retirement. That might be whatever your hobby is going to be in retirement, start picking it up beforehand. Get confidence in how you're going to draw money. And again, work alongside your financial planner to figure that out. If you don't have a financial planner, reach out to our office. We're happy to help you. But you need to have that clarity and confidence as you go into retirement. And the third thing you need is mental stability. You need a mental state that is solid and secure going into retirement. And again, this all kind of ties together. Now, how do you get a proper mental state? Well, get a really good grasp around your financial picture. Where am I at? How am I going to draw money? Do I have enough? How do I create that laddered income, right? I'm really big on laddered income, more money, the go-go years of retirement. How do I draw that without driving up my tax bill? How do I draw down my RSP? When do I start my CPP? How do I help my kids out? How do I downsize my house? How do I take care of my health? All of these things can be answered. They can be mapped out for you. Maybe you want to do it. Maybe you want to hire a professional alongside you to do it. But map that out. It's going to give you that mindset as you enter into retirement and relieve a lot of that stress and anxiety that's floating above there right now. So I want to give you two things to consider as you prepare to walk into retirement, or maybe you're already there and you're kind of struggling with it. And then I want to go through the 5 stages of retirement. But first, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Still about 60 to 70% of people watching our videos are not subscribed. So subscribe, join the channel. We release 2 videos every week on retirement planning. Might be financial, might be this emotional side. It's all important. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and join the community. So the first thing you need to consider is your health. How is your health today, and how do you deal with your health going forward? That's a big one. We only have so many years of retirement, and the longer you delay your retirement, the fewer years you have in your go-go phase. Now again, it's this fine line of, do you want to retire? Do I have enough money? There's a lot of factors that come into retire. I talk to people all the time. They have more than enough money, but they love what they do. They're passionate about it. They're making an impact on those around them maybe. They're not ready to retire. So they're eating away those go-go years, but they understand it and they're okay with that. But remember, you only have so many go-go years. So it's healthy years where you can travel, you can spend money, you can do the things on your bucket list. Eventually, those years go away. So there's a few parts to the health. A, take care of your health, move your body, make sure you stay active. Secondly, if you have health issues, how are you going to deal with them? How are you going to get help? How are you going to pay for that help? Thirdly, remember, you only have so many years in that go-go phase. So make sure you carve out time for your go-go years. Typically, that's up to about age 73 to 75. So if you're saying, well, Adam, I'm going to retire at 65. Gives you about 8 to 10 years of go-go phase. What does that look like for you? Keep that in mind as you plan for your retirement. The second thing you need to think about is energy. How much energy do you have, right? You're not 20 or 30 anymore. You're 50, 60, maybe into your 70s when you retire. Your energy is depleted. That could be from a health situation, but just naturally. Our bodies start to slow down. I feel that already. I have 4 young kids, and it feels like every single day I just have less and less energy. I have to push myself every day to really get on the ground and burn energy with my kids. As you know, if you have kids, you have grandkids, they have endless energy and it starts to deplete over time. So how much energy do you have to do the things you want to do? Again, these are things you need to think about as you walk into retirement. Let's look at the 5 emotional stages of retirement. And this I found online. This is done by Second Wind Movement, and we'll link this below so you can read a little bit more on it. But I really like the way that this is laid out. So the first stage is the pre-retirement stage. That's the planning stage and preparing for it and getting your retirement plan built up. The second stage is that honeymoon stage. So you're in retirement, You're enjoying the, it's like getting married, right? Those first little bit, it's all this honeymoon stage. And I do see most of, if not all of our clients experience that. It's the honeymoon stage, you're there, you don't have to go to work anymore, you can sleep in, you can do what you want to do. It's a great phase to be in, but it doesn't last forever. The third stage I call is the disenchantment stage. And that's kind of between the honeymoon and like, what am I doing in retirement? It's a bit of a lost stage. A lot of you are going to experience this, and it's really important to kind of dig in at that phase and say, okay, I'm past that honeymoon stage. I haven't kind of created structure and I feel a little bit lost. That's normal. I want you to know that is absolutely normal. In any kind of retirement phase chart that you'll see, there's this little phase in there that's kind of disenchantment, or you're lost, or transition. Everyone calls it something different, but it's really, you're lost. You're spinning your wheels. You don't feel fully comfortable. You may have lost your purpose, right? You hit that honeymoon stage and then you realize, wow, I don't have purpose anymore. Maybe your social friends, whatever it is. It's this disenchantment phase you're going to bump up against. You need to push through it, and you really need to make sure you have an understanding of everything I talked about earlier in this video. Like, equip yourself so that you can be better prepared for this phase of retirement that you will go through. The fourth stage is the reorientation stage, and this is really where you learn to do new things. You transition to this new life, right? Transitioning into retirement is completely different. You're starting a whole new phase of life, and it is very different. We see it day in, day out with our clients. It's not normal. You have to go through this reorientation stage. It's like new training, right? It's like starting a new job. There's training, it's different tasks, that kind of stuff. You have to figure this out. So make sure as you go through that disenchantment stage that you work on the orientation. What are you going to do? How are you going to do that? What tools do you have to put in front of you to make sure that you can succeed in that? And then the fifth and final stage is the stability stage. And people always ask, like, Adam, how long does it take to kind of go through these phases? I've seen people get to the stability phase in 3 to 4 months. I've also seen it take 5 to 10 years. Everybody is different. And some people stay in certain phases for much longer. Maybe the honeymoon stage is really quick, and that disenchantment stage is for years. Like, people are lost. They don't know what to do, find their value, keep busy, find purpose in their life. Some people do it very quickly. So again, if you equip yourself for these stages, I promise you that you will get to the stability stage a lot sooner than others. And that's why it's really important not just to look at the financial piece, but the emotional piece. So as you gear up for retirement, don't forget about kind of the anxiety, the emotional, the psychological piece of retirement. It's really big. And I don't want you to realize that in your first weeks or months of retirement. I want you to know that going into retirement. So as you prepare for retirement, build your retirement plan with your financial planner. But make sure you sit down and really work through some of these emotional, psychological mindset shifts so that when you walk into retirement, it's going to be as successful as possible.